Welcome back. We're going to talk about 10 books that bass players can learn a stack from. So we brought 5 each. We've dug deep into the caverns of our music book collection to find all this stuff. So we're going to talk about 5 each. And do you want to kick off?
Hi Otis, nice to see you
Oh,
again.
hello, Dominic. It's almost like I saw you last night, almost.
I'll be talking about double bass books. Now, unfortunately, I don't have volume 1 on me because I've lent it to someone. And stupidly, never lend books because I've got about 3 that I really want and are missing. So, but I've got booked. This is about, I know classical players say it's boring, but Simandl, I've got volume 1. It's a really good, if you're going to start playing double bass, I found Simandl really good. I know people use other books, but it's just a really good introduction. So this is the book 2, but just get book 1, and it gets you into all the fingerings and explains stuff, just as a basics for working out how it all works. That's my first one.
Nice one. Well, my first one, this is going to be a common sentence, I think, in this. There was a fantastic book by a guy called Joe Hubbard, and it was called Basslines, and it was transcriptions, 4 Marcus Miller tunes, 4 Stanley Clarke tunes, 4 Jaco tunes, 4 Mark King tunes. And no tabs, just all written out. So I had to get the reading chops together and learn all these amazing pieces. Have a go at them anyway. Things like Teen Town are in there. But on the back page of that book, there's this tiny little bit which is like a bibliography. And it suggested a stack of books that had helped him in his... So I got a few of those. So just to be fair, some of these, came from Joe Hubbard's little bibliography. This first one saved my neck because when I started at college, I couldn't read at all. And I figured, but if you get your rhythm reading together, we'll be well on the way. So my drum playing friends and teacher colleagues are sometimes, that's like one of our sacred texts, one of my mates said, which I thought was fun. So this is Louis Bellson, Modern Reading Text in 4/4 time. And I just used to cane this in the student union bar when I was much younger. And I finished it about 10 years later, if I'm honest. There's a second volume. Now this is still cheap as chips, by the way, even new, and it's going to keep you very busy. Loads of people struggle reading rhythms. This is very systematic. It'll show you various ways of reading the same rhythm. Highly recommended. There's a second volume, which is more expensive. Odd Reading Text in 4 time, which is also very good. But in terms of bang for your buck, this is tremendous. Louis Bellson, Modern Reading Text in 4/4 time. We'll stick these in the description later. All right.
Right. The next script I actually think is, every bass player should have it. It's fantastic. It's just a great book. It's by John Goldsby. It's called The Bass Book, and it comes with a CD, so you can actually watch the examples. But it's just fantastic. It's got a history of different bass players and styles. It's got loads of technical clips, things. It's just, and it tells you loads about different players. And I think this is an absolute must-have. It's just brilliantly thought out book. And John Goldsby is a great bass player, American guy living in Germany. I think he's at the WDR. Fantastic player, but he's just written the ultimate bass book as far as I'm concerned.
And I should say, I feel like a lot of that is it columns from Old Bass Player magazine? Some of that book. I think I actually read quite a bit of that in the magazine when I was buying it. We're talking 30 years ago, maybe. Right, the next one, possibly controversial, but this is Rock School Grade 8, and we've got Jaco and Les Claypool. And all kinds of stuff, pieces by those guys in here. There's a great Ashes to Ashes by David Bowie's in here. Stevie Wonder is in here. Master Blaster, which is great. This is like something to aspire to, I guess. So obviously a lot of the guys eventually end up passing this and learning and playing it for the A-level recitals and stuff. Just something, it's like a target to aim at. So there you go, Rock School Bass Grade 8. That's my second one.
Right. Well, actually, my third one, I have to say, I don't actually have on me, which is a bit embarrassed to say, but I've always found it really good. It's the Ray Brown bass method, and it's a really good book, and especially the diminished arpeggios at the end. I don't have it on me, sadly, because I've lent it to someone, and I haven't got it back, so I'm unbelievably annoyed. So, pardon that.
Unbelievably annoyed.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I might start using that.
Yeah, and but one day I'll get it back, hopefully, and I think the same person has my Simandl book as well. So anyway, but I don't really see them much anymore. So there you go.
That's pretty funny. Okay, right, the next one. Now I'll be honest, I've never got through the 6th one of these, which is in tenor clef by the looks of it, but the Bach cello suites. This is actually in decent nick, this particular edition, but I must have had 5 or 6 versions of these over the years that have just fallen to bits. I think I've had at least 3 of the Louis Bellsons, to be honest, that have been destroyed over the years. Fantastic for getting your chops together and your reading. And of course, Bach was a pretty good bass player, I think. That's probably, and a good improviser too. And it's, there's all kinds of legendary stories about him walking to concerts in the middle of nowhere, then walking home and playing what he's just heard from memory and all that stuff. I think Jaco was a bit like that too, but there you go, the Bach cello suites. And another of my heroes, Jack Bruce, I think, used to learn this stuff too. All right?
Yeah, right, so I'm in two minds about this. I mean, no, it's brilliant. It's by Jim Sinnott. Sinnott. It's the Paul Chambers transcription book. It's funny, I've got this book and I like looking at it, but I never use it because if there's a Paul Chambers I want to do, I just transcribe it. So it's kind of, but he's kind of good. He's done some really nice analysis about sort of in the way that Paul Chambers plays, in that actually he'll play the same lick but on a different, because it's where it fits him nicely on the double bass. But so like he might play a same lick on a G minor in a certain place, or also B flat major or C minor or E flat major. He'll play the same lick on the bass, but he puts on a different part of the harmony. And so Jim said it's quite good for that. But that, I'll say, I don't really ever play through it, because if there's a solo I want to take down, I just learn it by ear. So I still think it's definitely a must-have book.
Wow. Well, I have to say, whenever I've taken down any Paul Chambers, it just goes into your playing.
Yeah, it's just the best,
It's, I mean, I think I did. If I Were a Bell, and some of those lines ended up on a funk tune. I'm thinking, where's that come from? Now the next one, and now Dominic will say, you transcribe, do your own transcription of this stuff, and I think that's probably right. But again, this is at least my third, possibly fourth copy of the Charlie Parker Omnibook for bass clef. And if I'm being honest, this has to be on the list because I've bought my first copy of this probably in about 1988, actually, when I started at Leeds, And I used to sit there trying to practice sight reading with the saxophone players and stuff who'd have their B flat or E flat copy. I think I've got the guitar edition over there somewhere as well. So it's at least my second blue book, which is the concert edition. There you go, the Charlie Parker Omnibook. I had a great duet recently from 2 students who learned the Donald Lee head and were playing it. I mean, you're still working on that, right? I mean, at 1,000,000 miles an hour, it's a hell of a thing. So there you go, the Charlie Parker Omnibook. I learned a stack from this, so this has to be on the list.
And lastly for me, I'm going to say who the first guy, I know Jimmy Blanton knocked the doors off, but I mean, they're great bass players, and I can't mention them all, but Jimmy Blanton knocked the doors off really about what bass could do, and he's a massive influence. But for me, the guy who really put bebop on the bass is this guy, Oscar Pettiford. And I mean, one could argue that really he's pre-bop in a way, but it's just brilliant using lines, and especially his work when he plays on a cello, which he tuned in fourths. It's fantastic. Again, this is one I like having it, but if there's something I want to take down, I'll just do it by ear. But I still think it's a great book to have. And Oscar Pettiford is, although Blanton is for me, Oscar Pettiford comes second after Blanton, but he's the one who puts bop on the bass, and out of him comes Ray Brown, and and other people who really are the significant figures in the tree that is the jazz double bass tree. So if you can get this one, it's definitely good. It's great to, it's great to get out and I'm not going to lie and say, I can sight the more perfectly straight away, but it's great to work out, where are their lines coming from. I mean, with all these books, you've always got to accept that the mistakes in them. So, or trust your ear. But I definitely think those are my 5 books that I would choose.
Wow. Now again, if I'm being honest, this one has to be on the list too, and this is the Leonard Bass Method Complete Edition by Ed Friedland. Now this isn't a book I bought for myself, but this is the one book where students, if I get students to buy it, I mean, it's not like we're sponsored by any of these guys, it's just things that worked for us. The people that have finished this stuff have ended up doing, going on doing really great things, being fantastic players. The first 2 or 3 guys that finished this, it's about 140 pages or something. They went to music college and a couple of them ended up being professional musicians. I had one guy recently, he actually went to study archaeology, but I told him if he finished the book 7 times, he'd be able to play just about anything. Well, he finished it 6 times by the time he left, so he actually took me at my word and did all that work, a lot of it during lockdown actually. It's a fair play on that. The last one, very meat and potatoes, but it works. The Leonard Bass Method Complete Edition, great for getting your reading chops together.
I see. Does it come with a CD?
It comes with 3 CDs. I should say some of the books on these lists, I wanted to include, by the way, an honourable mention for Standing in the Shadows of Motown by Dr. Licks, which is a book of Jameson transcriptions. And my first copy of that came with tapes.
Right. Oh, right, okay.
And I've got a couple of these bass books that, again, didn't come on the list, and they came with flexi discs. Remember flexi discs?
Yeah.
We're both old enough to remember flexi, which is like a vinyl single that's like on a bit of plastic or something, which is kind of fun. But yeah, this one came with 3 CDs, although for all I know these days it's some kind of download, whatever, I don't know, because a lot of the books come with downloads now. Right, you go, there's our list. If you've got other suggestions yourselves, please put them in the comments, because we're still trying to learn after all these years, lifelong learning and all that. So we very happily take some suggestions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yep, and we'll see you next time, folks. If you're interested in any more of this content, please consider subscribing. See you later.